Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing the S.H.Figuarts Jiraiya exclusive edition from the series Naruto. Now I believe this was a Comic-Con exclusive from 2023, and it was also distributed online briefly. I was able to pick one up thanks to some diligent hunting, but this is effectively a re-release from an older figure, and while it is one of the older Naruto figures and one of the older molds, I believe it still holds up pretty well, which is probably why they just did a straight re-release like this, instead of making a 2.0 or 3.0 like they've been doing with some of the other figures. Now, it's been a while since I watched Naruto or read it, but the impact Jiraiya had on the franchise as a whole is still very important. I still remember his final stand against Pain, and he was a fantastic mentor to Naruto even if he was the pervy sage. Now, for this re-release, I don't think they've specifically changed all that much, it's just more the modern paint style and detailing that S.H.Figuarts have started doing, so cleaner faces, a little bit of shading, and brighter colours or accessories. Other than that, I don't think they've really changed anything. There might be one additional face or something like that, but I'm fairly certain that this is pretty much the exact same figure that they released years ago. Now, taken out of the box, you can see what we've got. So Jiraiya comes packaged with a folded arms accessory. He comes with 5 alternate faces, 2 ice blocks, a Rasengan effect, his separate arms, as well as a little notebook. Now, one of the weird things about this release, which I know is consistent with the original release as well, is that for all alternate hands you need to swap out the back hand guard as well, so there is a little bit of extra effort between each swappable part. It's not really the end of the world or anything like that, it is just a little bit tedious and a little bit weird. But taken out of the box, here is Jiraiya on a stand and he looks very, very good. The sort of muted colours look quite nice against the bright red of his sort of coat, as well as the beautiful white hair. My Jiraiya's hair was a little bit warped out of the box, so it's always sort of like swooping down as if his head was bent up against his chest. It's okay, it seems like you could probably fix it with a little bit of effort and a hairdryer, but I'm not really too bothered by it. But all of the paintwork and detail on this figure is nice. There's not a lot of paint, as is pretty normal for S.H.Figuarts these days, but what little there is, it looks good. The extra shading on his coat and hair looks good. It does add a little extra depth to the character. And it's a relatively simple design, but I think it's executed very, very well. It proportionally seems quite good. The folded arms require the arms to butterfly out a bit, so if you see it from the sides it looks a little bit weird, but overall it's pretty fine. We'll do a quick size comparison before we go further. So here he is up against the Kid Naruto that they released last year, and you can see he stands sort of like a head or two taller than Naruto, which seems just about right, even though I do know the proportions on that Kid Naruto figure were a bit weird. Now, once you swap out the folded arms accessories, which is pretty easy to do, but putting in the individual arms, my left arm on Jiraiya just refuses to click in properly, so it popped off a lot during this entire recording session, but generally it's okay. But once you've popped on the arms, we can do Posability. So it's got a ball joint at the head and neck, which allows his head to move around that far, a little bit of side to side, and his ponytail can rotate around and hinge. His head movement is definitely blocked by the hair. His arms can move out this far. There's a swivel up the upper arm, an elbow bend, as well as a butterfly. And it's a really good butterfly to accommodate for the folded arms. There is a hinge at the wrist. His scroll on his back can move a little bit. His coat is a soft plastic, so it bends pretty easily. There's a ball joint in the upper chest, which allows for a good amount of movement and rotation. There's a swivel at the waist. He can kick forward that far and back that far. His knee can bend that far. He's got a thigh swivel, as well as a pivot at the ankle. And a somewhat stiff toe bend, but much like the Luffy for the One Piece line, the entire sandal moves with the toes, which allows for a really good aesthetic and pretty good stability. Accessories wise, Jiraiya comes with 5 faces, so he's got a standard smile out of the box, which looks nice. He's got a big open mouth, cocky, laughing sort of smile. He's got a winking smile. He's got another sort of cheeky teeth gritted smile. as well as a comedic face. And these accessories pair well with pretty much all the Naruto line, pre or post time skip, especially pairs well with Kid Naruto and his comedic face, and you can have a bit of fun with this figure. Swapping out the hands, like I said, you need to swap the back sort of bracer, and it's not that big of a deal, but it is just a bit weird. I do appreciate that the hands have separate slots for holding different items, so there's like a clear hole for the ice blocks as well as his little book, and I thought that was a clever bit of engineering. And he's not the most dynamic figure, but I think that he is quite expressive. The Rasengan accessory is quite good. I wish it was a bit more of a solid color because the clear blue can get lost a little bit, and I wish he had a slightly more actiony face for actual fighting, but what we do have is pretty good too. And I think the expressiveness of the other faces more than makes up for any limitations in terms of mobility, but it is still a pretty posable figure, especially for being part of the older line. Overall, I am happy that I got the Jiraiya. I do wish it would have been a little bit more updated, but for an old sculpt, it does seem like it was probably ahead of its time quite a bit. It's just some small niggling things that are a bit bothersome. My own one's QC is a bit bothersome with the left arm constantly popping out. But overall, I enjoyed my time with the figure, and I think it is pretty good. I'd like there to be a Tsunade now, just so we can have Orochimaru and Jiraiya and Tsunade as the 3 Sennin. But if we don't get them, I think it's still pretty fine. I'm keen to see where we go with the Naruto line, because they are doing a lot of the top 99 figures, which are, for the most part, re-releases, but we are getting the new Minato and Itachi. We're getting the Sage Mode Naruto, as well as Pain being hinted at. As of recording this video, it was hinted at. But I'm curious to see where we go with it. I want them to get a little bit more wild with them, as well as choosing characters that we wouldn't think of normally, complete some of the other teams, have some unique effect parts, because the new sculpts, the new designs, the new figures, all of them are fantastic. Like, even side characters, or characters that do very little, like Sakura, have some of the best figures they've ever done for S.H.Figuarts, at least in my opinion. And the top 99 Sakura looks even better. So I have a lot of faith in this line, and I just want them to keep cooking. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.